For a few precious hours, I forgot the weight of everything. Cullen and I walked La Rose beneath fresh-lit lamps, laughing like we were ordinary. I told him what I've begun to understand, that the circle's design has advanced further than it should have. Elves shaping growth, dwarves mastering fire, humans binding it all together through labor, trade, and movement. A world engineered toward dependence. It should have felt like progress. Instead, it felt like a plan unfolding without us. We danced at the fiddler's thumb. I drank too much. I remember warmth, music that shook the floor, and Cullen's steady arms carrying me home.
Dagger here. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 4, Called by the Oath. We've had music, we've had moonlight, we've had entirely responsible decision-making. Naturally, this means consequences. Tonight, doors close, eyes open, and certain questions refuse to remain politely unanswered. Do try to keep up.
Cullen, Avon. A faint rhythmic knock pulls me from the warmth of a comfortable slumber. Voices drift through the floorboards, muffled but urgent, seeping under the closed bedroom door. Marta's voice rises, sharper now, followed by the thumping and squeaking of someone rushing up the stairs. My stomach tightens. It won't be Marta. Before I can leap for my sword, the door crashes open with a bang. A young, beardless man strides in. My gut twists. Why the hells did I wait so long to react?
"Hello, Bill,"
he says. Sharael jolts upright, clutching the covers to her chest. She doesn't seem afraid, more confused.
Bill?
She echoes. The man steps deeper into the room and tosses something onto the bed. A small, red-glowing object lands between us.
"Care to explain this?"
He asks. It's an amulet, the beacon of the oath. So, he's another oath taken. Still sluggish from sleep, laced with fear and racing blood, I can't tell if he's hostile. I roll from the bed, hit the floor, and grip the razor's hilt, just as cold steel presses against my back.
"Don't do it, Bill,"
he warns.
"I'll skewer you before you can draw. Now, explain."
Explain what? I snap, exasperated, not waiting for his answer. That your oath taken? You'd think you'd already know that. Sarcasm drips from every word. He has no right to barge in here, oath or not. You want me to explain why you've been called into service? Simple. You swore an oath. The reason doesn't matter. But here you are, assaulting those you're supposed to help. He hesitates, then lets out a small breath and steps back, sword lowering.
"Go on,"
he says, sheathing his blade. I rise, the razor still in its sheath but tight in my grip. My mind spins. How does he know the name I gave last night? He's not the man who posed as the night watch. I study him. His long, fine hair is tied back in a loose tail, shoulder-length bangs framing a sharp face. His nearly human ears taper to subtle points. An elf. I should have noticed right away. The almond-shaped eyes, the swooping lids, the lean but sturdy build. Sharael fingers the amulet, her brow furrowed with confusion. Anger prickles through me, hot and sharp. I draw the razor. It thrums as I point it at the elf. The blade sings, a hum that climbs my spine, sending a shiver I force down. Sharael gasps, the windows rattle, and a strange exhilaration pulses through me, the razor's power, raw and real for the first time. "Who are you?" I demand, my voice commanding. The elf's eyes widen, but not in fear. He studies the blade, his gaze lingering. When he speaks, his voice is slow, precise.
"Care Olosis, General Care Olosis of the 1st Elfin Army. Now, who are you?"
A general? I lower the razor slightly. Threatening a real general, if he's telling the truth, could get me killed. Or worse. I'm Cullen Avon, oath taken. This is Sharael Maldine of the White Circle. Care's brow arches. He glances between us, eyes settling on Sharael, half naked, sheets pulled to her neck. His stare lingers, not lecherous, more contemplative. Then, without warning, he pounds a fist to his chest, knuckles against his leather breastplate, and rotates it, thumb and forefinger covering his heart. He drops to one knee, head bowed.
Your Magus,
He says, soft but firm. Respect? Or a performance?
Rise, General,
Sharael commands.
and explain this.
She holds out the amulet. He stands, stepping closer. I move with him, placing myself between them, but I can't help glancing at the amulet. What's caught her attention? Care takes my movement without issue.
I don't understand, Your Magus. This is the amulet of the oath. It was my father's for nearly 400 years, mine for the last 40. 2 days ago, its glow intensified. A new point appeared, and I felt my oath pull me. So, I came.
He takes a deep breath.
It led me here, to you, and to this man, under an alias. I didn't expect to find the Magus herself. I thought I'd find imposters.
Sharael hesitates, weighing his words.
Very well, Carolosis, oath taken. Leave this room, apologize to the matron of the house, and wait for us in the gathering room.
He doesn't look pleased, but bows shallowly. Your Magus, he says, retreating without turning his back. The door clicks shut. The stairs creak under his weight, lighter than expected. Muted voices drift up from below, Care speaking with Marta. Then the front door opens and closes, but more murmuring follows, softer, moving beneath us into the center of the house. He's waiting. Perhaps another as well. I turn to Sharael. She still clutches the sheet, her eyes heavy with weariness, the remnants of last night's drinking and dancing painting her face.
Why did he call you Bill?
She asks. I sheathe the razor. Last night, when I carried you home, we ran into 3 night watch. One asked our names. Bill's the one I gave. But the man who stopped me wasn't Care. They must have been working together. She nods, her face clouding with something deeper. Shame?
This isn't what I wanted.
She whispers.
I did exactly what I tried not to. I showed weakness. Passed out in your arms, half naked in bed, sick from drink. He'll respect me less now. My authority's already diminished. I don't know how to fix it.
Maybe a show of power, I offer, though it sounds hollow. She doesn't answer. I want to tell her we're all human, but we're not. Care's an elf, a general in the elfin military, and from what I know, elves aren't exactly forgiving. They're proud, stiff, and they look down on humans even in the best of times. She's right to worry. She drops the sheet, revealing her breastband. Despite myself, my eyes linger. The want has been building, growing, day by day. But her sad eyes don't see it. Or maybe she just doesn't care. This is serious Sharael. Sad Sharael. The version of her I'm coming to know well, and haven't liked from the start. She starts gathering her clothes, scattered on the floor, the same ones Care must have seen. I dress quickly, my old clothes left with Marta for cleaning. As I pull on my pants, I ask, what were you asking him to explain? What about the amulet? I turn. Sharael stands there, still in her unders, clothes in a pile at her feet, her face distant and lost.
It's not the same.
She says. The same? As ours? Do you think it's counterfeit?
No. I can feel it's real. The way it connects with the razor.
Then what?
It looks similar, but there are fine details scrawled all over it. Our chains have the same work, but his has no chain at all, not even a place to loop one. There are markings on the points, the back, around the gem's mounting. The same craftsmanship we see on our links. Our amulets are plain in comparison. Our chains would look more at home on his version.
That's interesting. A pang of melancholy stirs deep in my chest. Enough time has passed for the anger of my youth to fade, replaced now with longing for Mum and my parents' voices, the rhythm of our daily training, the ease of family. They were my best friends, and I'll never see them again. The ache tightens my throat, threatening to twist my face, but I shove it down. Sharael is watching me, but she's lost in her own thoughts, oblivious to my turmoil. Is there anything else? I ask. She hesitates.
I'm worried about the oath sworn. Of the ones I knew, there was Noric Alosis, Care's father, and there were no Farsides among the oath sworn we left behind.
Her face crumples as she buries it in her hands.
It's all so different,
She sobs. The sound punches through my composure, threatening the fragile dam I've built around my own emotions. I fight it down, focusing on her instead. I step closer, ready to console her, but she lowers her hands and holds one out, stopping me. She shakes her head, a silent warning. Sharael, it makes sense this world would be different, after all we've seen. The oath sworn, oath taken may not be what we expect, but we have to believe they're still trustworthy.
But Terrence?
She whispers, her voice cracking. He's not the man who attacked you, I say, keeping my tone gentle, though the pressure behind my own emotions is relentless. We have to give Care a chance. If he's oath taken, then he'll be honorable.
You're so sure.
She says.
So trusting. But how do you know?
I know enough. I judge people all the time. There are those who'd steal rather than earn, hurt rather than help. But most of us, we want to do the right thing. She looks lost, sad. I can't help myself. I move closer, brushing my fingers along her cheek, sweeping her hair back. Her eyes close as she leans into the touch, letting the moment stretch out. I draw her into my arms, feeling the softness of her skin under my hands. She melts against me, resting her head on my shoulder, my beard scratching lightly against her cheek. I stroke her hair, her neck, her partially bare back, fingers trailing gentle lines. Her breathing slows, deepens, her chest rising and falling against mine. For a moment, it feels like the world is still, but then she steps back, slipping away. The moment fractures. Serious Sharael is back.
Come on, we need to get down there.
She heads toward the door. Sharael, I whisper, pointing at the floor. Your clothes. I hope for a smile, maybe even a laugh, but serious Sharael gives me nothing. She grunts, scooping up her shirt and pulling it over her head without bothering with the buttons. She tugs on her leggings, tightens her belt, and straps her sword over her still loose shirt. Before I've even finished dressing, she's already waiting at the top of the stairs, arms crossed, impatient. I fasten my belt, securing the razor and my crossbow. I make sure the razor is loose in its scabbard and that the crossbow is still loaded, though not cocked. All right, I say, but instead of heading down, I point further down the hall. She frowns, confused at first. I shuffle past her and into the water closet. When we finally step into the gathering room, Sharael leads the way. The faint hiss of water pipes echoes behind us. 2 men sit at the table. Care has his back to the right corner, near, but not directly in front of, the large window. Across from him sits a big human man, the fireplace glowing behind him. Recognition hits me. It's the watchman from last night. That confirms how Care knew my alias. Dagar sprawls across the table between them, seemingly asleep, his tail curled near a kettle surrounded by 5 cups and saucers. Marta enters, balancing a large wooden tray piled high with sliced white bread, pots of jam, and a plate of butter. She slides the tray onto the table, nudging Dagar to a less intrusive spot. The 2 men stand as we approach. The big man bows deeply at the waist.
"Your Magus,"
he says, extending an amulet for Sharael's inspection, and I can't help but look at Marta, who doesn't seem to notice the magical glowing aura. Sharael nods once.
Your name, oath taken?
"I am Sean Larnd, your Magus, descendant of Mikra Larnd, oath sworn, and I am able and willing to serve."
His voice is soft for his size, filled with genuine respect. Care huffs, smirking at the display. Sharael turns on him.
Care Alosis!
Her voice cracks like a whip.
How dare you show such disrespect in my presence?
Care waves her off, smug.
Yes, forgive me.
You forget your place.
She snaps again, louder this time. Care plants his hands on the table, the smugness slipping, his jaw tightening with annoyance.
I forget nothing, Sharael Maldine of the White Circle. I honor my oath, as you can see.
His words are tight, coiled with restrained anger. I rest my hand on the butt of my crossbow. Care notices. I measure the space. If I step back, I might have time to draw and cock the weapon before he reaches for his sword. But I'm not sure. And I can't tell if his aggression is real or just arrogance. Care flicks his gaze toward me, then back to Sharael, ignoring my posturing. Her temples flex as she grits her teeth. Then Care smirks.
Your Magus, will you sit with us? We may have much to discuss.
Instead of answering, Sharael turns to Sean.
Descendant of Mikra? Not Mikkel?
"Mikkel? No.
Sean replies, surprised.
He declined the oath as a child. It was taken up by his brother Mikra."
Oh no. It was a mistake to ask that. Sean seems oblivious, but Care's brow furrows. Sharael nods, masking her reaction, and Sean steps around the table to pull out a chair for her.
Thank you, Sean. Your chivalry is noted, but unnecessary.
He looks crestfallen, half bowing again before she stops him with a gesture.
Please, be seated at my left hand.
She points to the chair he'd already occupied near the head of the table. Sean bows slightly, pride swelling in his chest.
"Yes, your Magus."
He returns to his seat, clearly honored.
Cullen, be at my right hand.
Sharael says, gesturing beside her. Then she fixes Care with a stern look, a silent reprimand. She's making it clear. She trusts us more than him, despite his rank. The message is subtle but sharp, and my stomach knots.
Please, Carolosis, General, or whatever you called yourself, be seated across from me.
Where she can keep an eye on him. Even though there has been no shuffling of places, the insult seems to land hard. Care sits abruptly, his jaw tightening. Marta enters with another tray, cheerfully oblivious to the thick tension.
So, friends after all,
She says brightly, setting the tray beside the first. This one's filled with sliced cheeses and vibrant fruits, orange, white, and red, none of which I recognize. Dagar's paw darts out, scattering the cheese. Marta chuckles, patting his head.
Have a cookie, Mr. Olosis.
Care ignores her, his smoldering gaze locked on Sharael and me. His mood darkens the room. Under the table, I quietly draw my crossbow from its sheath, shifting in my seat as if just getting comfortable. This is spiraling. I need to say something to break the tension. I clear my throat, adopting my most respectful tone. Carolosis, I understand you're used to a certain level of respect, but we're all oath-taken here, equals in duty. We should act with honor. His eyes snap to mine.
A curious statement. Avon, is it?
That's right. He leans forward, voice low and laced with disdain.
Tell me, Avon, how is it that you find yourself here? As far as I know, the Avon family hasn't been part of the Oath for about 100 years.
100 years? My heart pounds.
Not since that coward Labias withdrew from the Oath has an Avon sworn service.
Care continues, sneering.
Thanks to your kin, the razor was lost, hidden away. And now it resurfaces, with an Avon. So, tell me, Avon, why have you come? Are you here to return what your family stole?
He's trying to provoke me, and he's doing a damn good job. But I keep my voice steady. You have a strange way of upholding your oath. What my ancestors did or didn't do means nothing. My word is my honor. I was called into service, and I intend to fulfill my duty.
High words for someone born so low. You've no right to speak of duty to me. I've served for over 100 years, longer than you've been alive by 4, no doubt.
Over 100 years? But he said the amulet had been his for 40. He doesn't look older than 30. My mind races, but I bite back my questions.
Enough.
Sharael cuts in, her voice sharp.
Care. You're in no position to question my judgment, or those I've chosen. Cullen Avon has been contracted.
Sean gasps, his eyes wide with sudden awe. Care scoffs.
And what does that mean?
The arrogance is suffocating. My jaw tightens as a new kind of anger surges, a deep, burning fury I can't control. How dare you, I say, my voice rising. Care waves a lazy hand, as if brushing my words aside.
Apologies,
He says, his sarcasm blatant. He leans forward, smirking.
So, we've all been called into service. What would you have me do?
His mockery grates against every nerve. Sharael stays composed.
I require nothing of you alone, Carolosis. It's the duty of the oath I require.
He waves her off again, dismissive.
And what grand service is this?
And that's where we'll leave Cullen and Sharael tonight. What should have been a quiet morning begins with a thump. The oath is calling its servants together, but not in the way anyone expected. Old names carry weight. Old grudges carry even more. And the deeper they step into the legacy of the razor, the clearer it becomes that the past hasn't unfolded as anyone expected. Carolosis and Sean Larned have arrived with a mix of pride, loyalty, and aggression that doesn't match the version of the oath Sharael remembers. And somewhere in all of that sits Cullen, caught between a family oath now in question, even doubted by others, a magus struggling to hold authority, and an oath whose true shape may have changed with time. Thank you for listening to the Dark Razor Chronicles, Season 5, Episode 4, Called by the Oath. I'm Mike Carmel, the author behind the story. If you're enjoying the journey, consider sharing the podcast with someone who loves character-driven fantasy and slow-burn mysteries. It helps the story reach new listeners and keeps the world growing. Until next time, keep your blade close, your oath closer, and remember, sometimes the most dangerous enemy isn't the one outside the door. It's the truth waiting on the other side of it.